Welcome. I'm Carl Frederick, and I will be interviewing individuals for Kenosha Voices, an oral history project of the Kenosha County Historical Society in conjunction with Kenosha Community Media. I have worked in newspapers for more than 40 years as an editor and a reporter. 38 and a half of those years were at the Kenosha News. I am also a member of the Kenosha County Historical Society Board. We hope you enjoy these programs. I'm speaking with board members of the Italian American Ladies Auxiliary. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
With me are Vice President Denise Salituro Villalobos, Marilyn Salerno Layden, and Tina Bonofiglio. Thank you for joining me. So, when was the Ladies Auxiliary formed?
The Ladies Auxiliary was formed on March 4th, 1924. The Men's Society had started earlier in November of 1923
Okay.
and established. And Leonard Montemurro was a very big proponent of that the Italian American Society. And he asked his wife, Minnie Montemurro, and Francis Ritacta to form a ladies' auxiliary. So henceforth, they established one on March 4th, 1924, in order to promote Italian culture. A lot of immigrants were coming over, and we wanted to, they were providing jobs, and we wanted to teach them English. And that, in fact, our minutes until 1958 were both in Italian and English.
Okay. So, you said Minnie and Francis were the original founders. And does the club exist by itself, or have its own charter, or is it under the men's charter?
I'll let you answer that.
It's we're an auxiliary,
Okay.
chartered under the men's
So
society.
it's under the men's charter.
Yes.
Okay. So, who was the first president of the organization?
Catherine Gentile.
Okay. And how many members
At the
were
time,
there?
there were around 20, 25, somewhere around there.
And how has it changed over the years?
Well, now we have almost 200 members,
Okay.
but it's fluctuated over many years. Back in 1958, we were the largest auxiliary. Was it in the state of Wisconsin
Country.
or in the country?
In the country.
An Italian auxiliary or any auxiliary
Italian auxiliary.
Italian, and we had over 1,000 members
at that time?
at that time. But since then, other things, life has gotten in the way, and the numbers have changed. But at this point, we're about 200. Is that
Yes.
where we're at?
Yes.
Okay, and what is it that you do? You said you had, as it was organized, help teach English, help immigrants find jobs,
Fill out forms.
fill up forms, also to promote Italian culture and heritage. Was there any other things that the club was involved in early on? Is that pretty much the...
Financially helping people back in the day.
Yes,
Okay.
they would help them find attorneys, notaries if they needed them, translators, physicians. They helped with funeral services for people that couldn't afford it. We actually early on, up until the late 80s, I want to say 1980s, we had a funeral membership where whenever somebody passed away, each member would donate $1 toward the funeral expenses of the deceased member. And they did that for many years up until, I want to say, the late 80s, early 1990s. And it helped pay for funeral expenses for people that couldn't afford it.
Okay, and what kinds of, did you say you'd go to funeral services or just donate?
Both.
Okay.
Both, actually. We still go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Denise is in charge of seeing who passed away, and if our group will call us and say so and so passed away. The family requests the IALA to do a prayer service, so she'll set it all up for us and contact our members, and whoever can attend attends, and we do a small prayer service.
okay. Now, did you do any kind of other honoring of people during the years of the club?
We do during our anniversary every year in March. We honor the past presidents, deceased past presidents. Other than that, I don't think so.
Well,
Just
we used to have the Mother's
Oh,
the
the
Mother's Day
yes, that's
celebration.
right.
And what was that?
Go ahead.
What did you do?
Each year, a Mother of the Year was selected, and it kind of went by years of age. So, you started with a certain age, and then someone of that age bracket would be nominated for the Mother of the Year, which was actually a big production. I mean, people still list that in family members' obituaries that they were Mother of the Year at the IAA. And then just not all that long ago, we started just honoring all our mothers on our Mother Day, at our Mother Day meeting. So.
Okay. Now, you said you had a celebration, your anniversary, 100 years recently.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
So in March of this year, we celebrated our 100th anniversary. We had a gala event, which was attended by many people, and we basically ran it like the old-fashioned Italian weddings, where you came in, you received a shot at the door,
A shot?
a shot of alcohol,
Okay.
either anisette or brandy, and then we had some memorable little shot glasses made that had printed for our 100th anniversary that you were able to keep. Then we had an Italian band from Chicago. We had hot beef sandwiches served at about 10 o'clock in the old-fashioned wicker baskets, which is how they were served years ago at weddings. So basically we modeled it after an Italian traditional wedding.
Okay.
Even the desserts, we had Italian cookies, wedding cookies, the Giannetti, and
Okay.
that people in little bags to take the extras home with you.
Was this also a fundraiser?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it was. The Vespa. We raffled off a Vespa.
In conjunction
In
with
Yes.
conjunction with
yes.
it.
Part of
Yeah.
the
Yes.
To
overall.
help finance the expense of the
Right.
party.
Yes. Yes.
Did it cover it?
Yes, it did.
Okay. So, during COVID, you suspended your club meetings. When you came back from COVID, did that end up causing several people not return? Or did it pretty much say, oh, COVID is over, we're all coming back?
I think a lot of people wanted to come back. They were ready to join in again, but it did hamper our numbers. We didn't. I think we came back in 21.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that and
We stopped meeting in March of 20.
yeah, we stopped meeting and didn't meet again till 21. And I think it did hamper that. And gradually, as months progress, more people encourage. Oh, come on, we're sitting. We're not sitting real close. We're doing all the protocols to monitor for COVID
Okay.
and that. But yes, but gradually it has risen, and now we get anywhere between 70 and 90 people at our meetings.
Okay. What are the requirements for membership earlier than present?
Well, I think that the membership requirement has always been a woman who has been over 16 years of age, is of Italian descent, or married to an Italian, or promote Italian heritage. Now in 2014, one of our presidents, Louise Mattioli, encouraged us to go for non-Italians, and we put it to a vote and it did pass. So our numbers really increased quite a bit in 2014 because as long as you encouraged or promoted Italian heritage, Italian culture, that you were accepted into our club.
Okay. And how do you promote Italian heritage and culture today? What do you do to promote it?
Well, every month we have either a speaker. We have a speaker if it's not a dinner month, dinner. We have dinners on certain months. And if it's not a dinner month, we usually have a speaker. Every October, it's Italian Heritage Month. So one of our members speaks about a region in Italy. And she'll either cook something from it or have us cook something from it so that we can taste what is prevalent from that region, and other than that, like I said, every month we have a community service.
Community service
We have
project?
Well, yes, basically every month we do backpack supplies for children in Unified. We do Shalom Center. We've done Grace Welcome Center. We just recently did One Hope, which is a foster care unit, and veterans,
Right.
and that. Any of our members who want to talk about a certain group, promote a certain group, they bring it to our committee, and then we get a speaker or something that coordinates with the month or with the organization.
And then you raise funds or provide?
Yes.
How do you raise the funds for a community project?
Well,
We take donations from the membership, cash
So-
donations. Otherwise, the organization sends us a list of what they need. If it's personal items, hygiene items, clothing items. We did Lions Club. We collected old glasses, sunglasses, eyeglasses, any kind of glasses. So we'll collect those items from the membership, and then we'll supplement that with cash donations. And if it's an organization that's just looking for cash donations, we collect cash from the membership at that monthly meeting, and then we donate it all the proceeds to that organization.
Okay.
and our members are very generous.
Generous. Another thing that we recently started just 2 years ago was the La Befana tradition.
We brought it
what is
back,
that?
actually.
We brought that back.
Yeah.
Okay, what
So
is that?
in January, we have a brunch, and we have a member who dresses up as La Befana and reads stories to the kids and tells the story. And I believe that was something, as Tina said years ago.
Yes, they used to do that. Befana visits the children in Italy on the Feast of the Epiphany, the 12th day after Christmas.
Can you tell me the story of Bufanda?
Befana, yeah. The wise men came to her door following the star, looking for the Christ child, and she told them, "Well, I don't know what you're talking about. There are all kinds of children in this town, you know." And so she sent them on their way. And after the fact, she decided, "Oh my gosh, you know, maybe they're looking, you know, maybe I should be going with them." They invited her to come along, and she said no. So La Befana, this old woman, a strega, or witch they say in Italian, she would go with her broom and looking for the Christ child, and so to this day she keeps going every January 6th on the Feast of the Epiphany, looking for the Christ child, and she gives treats to all the children that were good during the year and cold to those who weren't. And we still have a brunch now. We brought back. It was a tradition that it's still celebrated in Italy. It always has been, but
It was kind of St. Nicholas Day for Italians.
well, Saint Nick is in Early December.
That's right, but I mean
yeah,
the idea
yeah,
of
but it's the
giving
same
treats
type of
and
thing where
little
she's bringing
things.
gifts to the children, and you know, seeing who's been naughty or nice. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
How do you promote Italian culture in the Kenosha community? What do you do to make people aware of the Italian heritage? Do you, like, have a booth somewhere? Do you have a program out in the public somehow? Do you march in parades? Do you do anything that says, "Hi, you are Italian"?
Yeah. Well, in October, again, as I told you, it's Italian Heritage Month, and Kenosha Harbor has they promote Italian culture, and they ask all the Italian businesses, organizations to attend, and they can do whatever they want. We sell our aprons and our shot glasses and whatever we have, cookbooks, and that. And other businesses are there promoting their organizations, all Italian, and that. But
We used to do the food fair
Yeah.
at the museum every year.
Okay.
I don't know if they're still doing it or we're just not doing it anymore, but there would be different organizations with German food and Danish food and Italian food, and we would have a booth there. We did it at Gateway, I believe, for many years in the past too.
Okay.
So there was, you know, food and Italians kind of go together. That was an easy one for us.
Okay, yeah, I believe it. I do. So,
they used to have drill teams and marching bands.
Yes,
She
we'd
would
be in
know
the
more of
parade.
that. That would be, but that was, I think, even early '50s, very early, because Darlene was telling one of our past presidents was telling me, she said that her her mother-in-law was in the drill team, and she was out of the drill team was gone by 55. That's what she was saying. And
A bowling team. We still have
yeah.
a bocce league that came back. But it's not for the community. It's for the membership,
Yeah.
basically.
Right.
And that is
Okay.
something we continued during COVID. We still played ball. We
Yes,
played
we-
with masks on, but we were outside and we did not stop that.
Oh, okay.
And they play Italian cards.
Okay. How is that? What kind of Italian cards? I mean, is it a regular deck of cards with certain games or a different deck?
It's a different deck. It's a 40 card deck, and the Napoletana version it's called, and it's there are only 10 cards in each suit instead of 12 like regular American cards. So there are we play a game called Briscola and another game called Scopa, and we do that basically when bocce's not in season, so we can do it indoors. So that's kind of what we continue as a club activity outside of our regular meetings during the off season. So
Okay,
to
so
speak.
a lot of the promotion of Italian culture are the things that you do within your membership to keep
Yes.
those things alive.
Yes.
Our guests are invited to several things. A few of our dinners guests are invited to. You can come and play cards. We usually meet in the restaurant before we start playing and have dinner, and then stay for cards afterwards. And we're more than willing to teach the newbies to the novices how to play. We used to offer Italian language classes. We obviously early on we were offering English classes, and then of course the language is lost in one generation once you get to a new country and people stop speaking it and they want to acclimate. And so we started. I was involved in a program called Wisitalia that was tried to reintroduce the Italian language, and for a while we even had Italian language classes. We play Italian bingo at our Christmas
Yes.
party. It's called Tombola. Some of the traditions that came over with the original immigrants, we kind of tried to keep alive.
Okay. Now, you mentioned you have community service projects where you raise money for an organization each month, for the most part, when you
Yes.
meet. Have you had any other fundraisers that you've conducted?
Well, the La Befana is our biggest fundraiser,
Okay.
and that is for our scholarship.
Okay.
Goes
Tell me about
back-
the scholarship.
The scholarship is given out to any graduating senior girl whose relative is a member of Italian American Ladies Auxiliary. So she can be a daughter, granddaughter, great-granddaughter, niece,
As long as there's a member
as long as they're
relationship.
there's a member there. And they fill out an application, and then the application is turned into our committee, our scholarship committee, and then they choose the applicant. And the money is dependent on how much money we have in our coffers at that time.
So it could be more than one person.
It could be more than one person. It could be one. This last time it was 4, and that prior to that it was 3. So it changes as we get the applications, and that.
And
but-
how your funding is going.
and how our funding is going. We try to, most of our fundraisers, like we did the Kingfish game this year. This is a new fundraiser for us. And it was the 50-50 raffle. We got half of the 50-50 raffle. So that went into the treasury toward scholarships as well. But mainly La Befana brings in that whole money. And our bake sales and our crafts, our cookbook sales, our apron sales.
We did for years chili luncheon,
Chili
salad
luncheon.
luncheon that was open to the
Salad
public,
luncheon,
and we use those for fundraisers
Yes. And that,
many years.
Okay.
yeah.
What's the future of the club?
Well, we hope it keeps going, and we keep getting new members. I install 2 to 3 every month, so we keep trying to preserve it for the next generation, basically.
So how many new members would you say you've gotten since COVID ended and you returned? So it's
Well,
since
my term started in 2022.
Okay.
Our president passed away, and I was the vice, so I stepped in, and from 2022 to now, we've installed over 75 people,
Okay.
and that. So it's a gradual increase every month, and that sometimes we have 1 or 2, sometimes we have 5. And they get it by word of mouth. Our restaurant is a good promoter of saying, hey, you want to join a club? Join the Italian American Ladies Auxiliary. And our applications are down there. And the idea is to keep that club, the restaurant going, the building going, so that we can have the Italian weddings and everything. So our money goes toward that as well.
Okay. And in these new members, is there kind of an idea of the breakdown between people who are of Italian descent and people who just joined because they believe in Italian culture and continuing it? Do you have an idea?
A separation?
Yeah, just
No.
kind of.
No.
None
And-
whatsoever.
None
And
whatsoever?
we definitely are still predominantly have a lot of Italian
Italian.
members.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely.
And
Okay.
but go ahead.
I was going to say, one of our presidents, who's been a member for almost 70 years, back into the 50s, she's German, but she married an Italian. So but her husband's long since passed, and she's still a member. She's been a member for a very, very long time. A lot of the women members were joined because their husbands were Italian. So there's always been that, basis in the membership.
Do you have any other long-term members that you can think of, like
In their
other
90s.
years?
We have one in their hundreds. We have a couple women in their 90s still playing bocce, believe it or not. 90, 95. That Darlene Venzi, the one I just mentioned, she just turned 90. She's still playing bocce. She was our president for 10 of our 100 years. We've got quite a few members in their 80s and 90s, actually. I think our eldest is 104, if I'm not mistaken. But we have what's called an honorary active membership for anybody that's over the age of, it's 85 now, I believe.
Right.
Used to be 90. You have lifetime membership. You don't pay dues anymore. You can still participate and come to the meetings. And so we have, I would say, about 8 honorary active members right now that are over. They were over the age of 90. We're just incorporating a change in the bylaws to make that 85.
Do you have any new ideas about what you might do in addition or next, or the future of the club? What can you tell me?
We're thinking of making spaghetti and selling it, and that as the idea is mostly fundraisers to increase our scholarship money and that and to donate to the building so that it can keep running and that it is a very old building. I think it was
It's
built,
almost 100 years old.
yeah, 1926 it said. It was the cornerstone. Somebody just put it out, so we want to keep it going. We want to keep that going.
We want our grandkids to
Yes.
be able to go.
Yes, my daughter's in the club, and my niece, and that. So we're trying to bring more and more the young
The
generation.
family affair.
Right. We want to get right now. You have to be in the club 2 years before you can even run for a board seat. And then after that, after you've been on the board for 3 years, then you can run for an executive position, and that's how that works. And that, but
We have quite a few members that are 2 and 3 generations
Okay.
deep in the membership, so keeping it going that way.
That's how I got started.
that's what it.
My grandma was a member, and I
Okay.
just remember having to go pay the funeral money as soon as I got my license. When I was old enough to drive, I had to go pay her post every time somebody died.
I was actually a scholarship recipient back in 1970 something, and when it was $200, the ILA scholarship.
Every little bit helps.
That's right. Well, college wasn't quite as expensive then either.
No.
And mine was from my aunt. She was, and I sometimes worked Wednesday nights, and we meet every Wednesday, monthly on the first Wednesday of the month. And she said, "No, you can't join because you can't attend enough." And so she made it until I retired back in 2012. And then she goes, "Now you can join." And that's they had their rules. They were much stricter than we are now. We're not going to say you have to attend 5 meetings or that. We'd like to have them do it on their own and contribute to our membership and that.
Do you have several members who have Italian citizenship as well as U.S. citizenship?
No, I don't know
Oh, I
that.
don't, we never asked that
Never
question.
asked that.
We've had a few. I remember Barb Contro
Yeah.
was in Italian City. Her husband was working here for an Italian company, and she joined the club for the couple of years that they were here. I know a few people that have, pursued getting their Italian citizenship for travel purposes and, wanting to buy property in Italy, that type of thing. But I've never really surveyed the membership to see.
It's a good
if
question
there
we
are-
could ask.
Mhm. That would be great, and then to promote that part of it. And so,
Well, cool. Okay, thank you for joining me today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
for
Yeah,
having
thank you for
us.
having
thank
us.
you for having us.